Another third of the year has gone by, so I am back with my May, June, July, and August reflections. So you may have remembered that I did this for the first bit of the year, and I like to do this because if you don't stop and reflect on any length of time, a lot of times you're like, that time has gone by so fast, and what did I even do? And sometimes you remember big things like vacations or promotions or big events, but sometimes it's the little things that slip by, and even the big things sometimes you forget. So I decided to do a check-in 3 times a year because quarterly felt like too much. So I did it once for January, February, March, and April, and now I am doing my summer reflection. It's really an interesting May through August because as a parent, school ends and starts in that same time frame, so there's a lot of school-related things here. But let me just jump right in. So again, these are not goals, these are just reflections, and these are things that have just really brought me joy, and I like to capture them because now look at this. I have this beautiful, this is my Laurel Denise, beautiful page of just like, I don't know, all of my happiness and reflections for the first 8 months of the year. Okay, kicking it off with TV. The first part of the year, I watched a ton of TV, looking at it as a recap, Ted Lasso, Shrinking, White Lotus, and Severance. This summer, we watched Righteous Gemstones, and that was such a good show, so funny. We watched all 4 seasons, and we also watched Man on the Inside. I have a theory, even if you're in a happy marriage, that your marriage is like a million times better when you're watching a show because you have Reddit things you could send to each other, memes, just like all of the little texts. It's just so fun when you have a show. Righteous Gemstones, my husband has sent me roughly like, I don't know, a million Baby Billy memes, GIFs, like so applicable to so many situations. So that was really fun. Next up is travel. Okay, we took, I think I talked about this in another video, we took an 8-day road trip where 4 days we were on the road and then 4 days we were in Maryland, which is where we're from. And we took my 5-year-old who likes her routine. So we were like, okay, how can we continue a routine with different hotels and sleeping arrangements and like sharing a room and sometimes having your own room and like kind of sleeping on a couch bed and like all of that. And it was so good. I still think about it. It's neat because we live here in Central Florida. So we do a lot of swimming, beach, cruise, theme park things. And I live here and chose that. And that is the life that I want to have and that I want me to have for my family. So I am not saying anything bad about that because I will pick that over living anywhere else, despite Florida and its Florida-ness. But we had never seen, like she had never seen lightning bugs before. And so that was a really cool moment. And just like driving up, we drove up through Florida and then kind of went, instead of going up 95, we went a little bit west. And so we got to see mountains, and she's never seen mountains before because everything is so flat here. So that road trip was so fun. And we drove up with my mother-in-law, which was super fun. So it was the 4 of us in this rental car. We stopped in St. Augustine, in Savannah, in South Carolina, near Roanoke, and then we made our way to Baltimore. And so it was just so much fun. And then we got there, we saw a lot of people and we did a lot of things, and it was just an amazing trip. And then my husband and I just went about 2 weeks ago to Disneyland. And we normally take an anniversary trip in December for our anniversary, but we decided to go early this year so we weren't traveling in December because it just gets like the time with holiday stuff gets so crazy and so busy. So we went to Disneyland and we had so much fun. We'd been to Disneyland in August a few years ago, and it was the middle of the month and it was pretty busy, but this time we went later in the month. It was a little bit cooler and it was like no crowds. So I think maybe everybody had just gone back to school. It was like literally the last 4 days of the month, but it was so much fun. So anyway, those were my travel things. We did a little bit more traveling in the first part of the year than the second, but I don't know, I feel like we spread it out pretty well and it was a lot of fun. As for live entertainment, that is something that I love. Again, living in the Central Florida area, there's lots of live entertainment. So we have all been to the Hoop-Dee-Doo review at Disney before, but my daughter had never been. So we went as a family, that was a lot of fun. And then she got to go to a little character breakfast at Ohana with Lilo and Stitch, and that was super fun for her graduation breakfast. So just like little things, I feel so grateful to live here because there are a lot of things like as a parent that I'm so happy to take advantage of and like get to see through her eyes. And one thing I try to do is not say, oh, like we'll do that eventually, because it's so easy to be like, oh, we'll eat at the castle eventually. And then like one day she's going to be 15 and then we'll have just like never done it. So I tried to budget and plan for a couple of those things a year, like we did Bippity Boppity 2 years ago, because I just know that they get big so quick and I just want to enjoy all of those moments. So that was really fun. As for appointments, I was really good at the beginning of the year. I only met with my dietitian in this second chunk of the year, which is great. I just love bouncing ideas off of her and talking to her. And she's really helped me just like eat a lot healthier and I feel a lot better. But I also scheduled the dentist. So I am hoping in part 3 of the year, we hit up the dentist, the dermatologist. I have also scheduled for this month, I need to add it to this list, blood work, my regular, like my primary care doctor, and then, yeah, if I could do the derm and the OBGYN, I'm done for the year. Oh, yeah, and I already did the dentist in the beginning of the year and got my mammogram. That's another thing. Sometimes it's nice to take one day off work and just do everything, and other times it's like, oh, like what can I squeeze in at 8 a.m. before work, or like go get blood work done at 7 a.m. or something like that. So it's nice to just book a couple appointments here, a couple appointments there. I prefer to do it throughout the year. Moving along, small joys. My daughter went to her first baseball game ever, which was exciting because my husband is like a lifelong baseball fan. And so they had watched it on TV before, and she got a t-shirt and a hat, and it was just so fun. We went to a baseball game in Baltimore in July, and it was not a million degrees. It was kind of overcast, almost looked like it might rain, but we somehow managed like a cool-ish day, and it was so much fun. I mentioned that she also got to see mountains and fireflies for the first time, and it was refreshing to me because July, August, you get to this point in the summer where it goes from hot to just unbearable, and you just like can't take it one more minute. And so it was just nice to like, we stayed at this hotel that had like included breakfast, and it was busy, and so we had to go sit outside on their back patio one morning, and it was just like you could sit outside at 8:30 in the morning, where in Florida sometimes it's already too hot. So just like little things like that, those little things on a road trip that are fun. And another small joy is I said that my husband and I went to Disneyland this year for anniversary. We had never done the Oogie Boogie Bash, so we got tickets for it, and like 6 days before the trip, we had not talked about this at all. This had never been a topic of conversation. I don't even know, I guess I was the one that came up with it. I was like, what if we dress up like Wanda and Vision from WandaVision, the Halloween episode, to go to this Halloween party? And he and I like aren't big costume people because, again, in Florida, it could be Halloween and still 90 degrees. But we pulled together in less than a week these super fun costumes, and it was the most fun experience ever. Like, I'm not like a Comic-Con person or like anything like that, but I can see how people would just like love getting dressed up, going and like being part of this community, because people were so nice to us. Like, we have never had so many strangers say nice things to us, and it was so much fun. So that was another small joy, and I absolutely loved it. Next up is people. So this was a really good category because, well, actually I have two things to say about this category. One, and I'll get to this in my next column or my next category of You Did It, but I was in a choir and we had a lot of rehearsals. So on one hand, the people category was tough because I was in rehearsals a lot during this time frame and I was really busy. But on the other hand, that road trip really helped out because it was so nice. I got to see high school friends, college friends, cousins, family. Like, it was such a nice trip, and we just had a really good time. So it was a really good people season, and I'm hoping that this time of year, as it starts to get busy with the holidays and everything, that I can still make time. And I think it's just about putting things on the calendar in advance. Sometimes I think it's better to just put something on the calendar, and if you have to cancel last minute, okay, but at least it's on there as a placeholder. Sometimes that works with people's work schedules or events or whatever, but it was just really nice to catch up with people that I hadn't seen in a long time. Next up is the You Did It category, and I am so proud of myself for these three things. Okay, thing number one, global entry. I got global entry. I have TSA pre-check now. What a dream. I have had this on my to-do list forever. You may have something on your to-do list that has been there for 100 years and you just haven't done it and you need to do it. And it's just like, and one day I was like, my husband actually traveled and he texted me from the airport, like he had just gotten global entry, and he said, you've got to do this. And I was like, okay, I'm doing it, because there is no worse airport in the world than Orlando. I know everybody likes the carpet pictures. I know everybody likes the message from our Orlando mayor, Buddy Dyer, on the monorail situation, but like, it is the worst airport, especially if you're in Terminal B. Anyway, I could talk about that forever, unless, feel free to leave a comment if you think your airport is worse, but Orlando is not it, especially if you are from Baltimore like me, and BWI just had all those nice renovations, like the bathrooms. Anyway, I digress, but the less time you can spend at the airport, the better. And I just did it. I just was like, okay, I'm gonna pay my money, I'm gonna get my appointment, I'm gonna go, and I did it. And I have flown TSA with TSA Pre twice in the last few weeks, and it has been like a game changer. So anyway, that was something that was just like a You Did It, because it's been on my list forever. I don't even know why it took me so long, and I did it. Next up, I passed the PMP, the project management exam. It is a lot of studying. There's lots of like little tidbits and definitions and rules you have to learn. And it was just this thing that has been on my list for like 7 years. And I was finally like, I am taking it. So on my part one of the year, I applied for it, which is not just like you go and you pay your money and you sign up. You have to do a whole application. So that was the first thing. I was like, I'm doing it. So I did it. And then in May, I talk about it in my last video where I have my themes for the month, and May was Misery May. I'm like, you're just gonna study. I took it on May 31st, I passed, and I hopefully never have to think about it again. Continuing ed aside, I mean, but oh my gosh, what a relief to just have that done. And the last thing is that I auditioned for a choir. So I like to sing in a holiday choir, but I wanted something to do over the summer, and so I did a local choir, and it was a really amazing opportunity. I have never performed in a theater so beautiful in my whole life. I have never been in a production with an orchestra so incredible in my whole life. Well, except for the winter one. There's a little overlap there, but just like to be in a place where there's like a live orchestra is just so incredible. There's nothing to me like as amazing as an orchestra, because it's just like a bunch of people with exceptional talent, but they're just like sitting in chairs, and then all of a sudden they just start playing, and it's, I mean, the most incredible thing. I love orchestras. So anyway, that was another really nice experience, but it's under the You Did It category because I had to like submit a self-tape, and it wasn't that serious, but still, like, self-tapes, as you know, my theory is like a bad audition exists in time, but a bad self-tape exists in time and space. So I got past that, and it was really lovely. Okay, next up is my mom milestones. So as I said, this is May, June, July, August, so you have end of year and start of year all in this time frame. Okay, I got to be a mystery reader. That was super cute. We had pre-K graduation, which just like, my husband was like, are you crying? And I'm like, it's graduation. And he was like, they haven't even come out yet. But there was the slideshow. It was just so cute. She had her little science fair, her dance recital, and my personal favorite, they had a Pee-wee prom. And I just about died. We got a prom dress. We did our hair. We put makeup on. It was so cute. And like, they had like juice boxes and pizza and cupcakes and like little I miss her preschool so much, but it was so sweet. On other news, like I said, it's the whole summer, so we are back to school and we started kindergarten. So that has been super fun, and it's been nice to do like little classroom like activities and like little donations. Like the teacher is asking for things, and so I just called a local pizza place and was like, can you donate 25 pizza boxes? They're like, yes. And I called the local grocery store and I'm like, I need paper bags so they can make their like letter vests for their letter parade. Can you donate? They're like, yes. So that's just been fun being like class parent like involvement situation. So I really like that. We also, two challenging situations that we are like past now, which like, again, I like to be grateful because when you're in it, you're like, oh my gosh, is we had like this really rough bout of illness in early May that lasted like a week, and it was so brutal, and it took us like the whole month to get back in our schedule, and it was so rough, and we did it, and it's behind us. So kids get sick, it'll probably happen again, but we are past it now, and I'm very grateful for that. And then the last thing that was a mom milestone for me is when we did our road trip, we flew home. So we drove the whole way up, hung out in Maryland, and then we flew home from Maryland to Baltimore to Orlando, which this flight from taking off to landing is like an hour 50. Okay, we were on the plane almost 7 hours because of like this, that, and the other. There was weather, then we held, then we were gonna take off, then we held, then we had to go back, then we got back on, then we were about to take off, then we had to go back to get a pilot. Like it was the worst experience of my whole entire life. And I was like, this is only her second flight ever. Like, I don't know what we're gonna do. And she just was like such a champ. We were reading, we were playing with like little magnet activities, and we didn't have like probably like, we had snacks and stuff, but like probably not enough to like what she was like normally used to. We had to eat airport food, which is like not what she's used to, and she just hung in there. And there is like something so satisfying when you're a parent about like, we had this really hard moment and we survived. So anyway, that was one of my mom milestones. Okay, money wins. I dealt with an old retirement account, check, and I'm spending for holidays prep. Okay, so this is not a sinking fund because I already did that. What this means is that I had like a real like moment where I was like, your spending is like a little bit crazy right now. And so it made me sit down and put myself together like a budget to be a little bit more strict, because I wouldn't say I'd done anything so irresponsible. It was like crazy, but I was also like, this is trending in a direction that I'm not super proud of. So I made a budget for myself. So I'm really excited to see how that goes the next few months. And lastly, miscellaneous. So again, we live here in Central Florida. It's so lovely. And we got to go to Epic Universe when that opened. So that was really fun. We did a Blizzard Beach Day, which again, like sometimes during the summer, you're like, just like, even to get out of the house, even to go to the pool, it's just so hot. So we got out and did that. And then we had a pool day at one of the Disney resorts that we stayed at, like a little mini staycation. So part 2 of the year is done. I feel like I'm gonna make myself do this from here on out, because just at the end of the year to look back at this page, and then there will be a part 3, it's just such a good reminder of, again, it's not like goal, it's not accomplishments, right? Like I have a TV list here and vacations I've been on, but just like a year goes by and you're like, wow, like I did a lot of really great things. And so it's just something that makes me happy to reflect on. So anyway, if you're doing reflections monthly, quarterly, once in the middle of the year, on your birthday, whatever the case may be, you'll have to let me know in the comments below. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.